couple more days and the Vette will be running. I can't wait. What's it gonna sound like? Is it gonna start on the first go? I bet it'll sound so badass. Who's a dream? Or a nightmare?
Hey, I'm Mike and welcome back to the Hangar Hideout. Well, we got the motor back in the big garage and it's a couple feet closer to the Corvette now. With the seasons changing and New Balance jorts weather coming, we really need to get this puppy going. Not just to the nines, but we're missing car shows. I want to sit in my lawn chair and talk to other people about their Corvettes. Since we finally got the ARP head studs, we need to put those in, torque them down, and we can focus our attention to the engine bay. Let's torque these down and take her to the next one.
So I started out by dipping the very edge of each stud into oil because it's metal on metal and going into the motor. The top of the ARP head studs are an Allen key, so make sure you have that. And all I did was tighten them all the way down and put on the gasket. Now because I put oil on them, I made sure that was nice and clean before I put the heads on. Then you slap on the nuts and, of course, part of the motor. Don't forget to torque down.
Oh, the head's finally torqued down. Now we can focus our attention to the engine bay. Get her ready. We slide her on in. Next is we got to get this new slave cylinder in. We got a new clutch, so, new slave cylinder. When you're doing this, by the way, you're gonna want to get a remote bleeder. It's gonna save your life later. I've made the mistake, and I won't make it again. Sometimes you have to just parkour your way into the car when you don't leave a lot of space. And then it was that easy. You don't have to overthink things.
Now the slave cylinder itself is fairly easy, but the line that it's connected to, make sure that you have your disconnect tool. We had it and we still had to resort to using screwdrivers.
Whew. Well, it's that fateful time where we're gonna see if this wants to go back inside of the car. We got the harnesses kind of spread about. We got the slave cylinder back on. We've got everything kind of, pushed away. And just cross your fingers. So, I got mine crossed. Yep. Here we go.
Putting the motor back in was fairly straightforward. We really just lowered it in slowly and made sure every line was out of the way or every accessory. Now, if you did it like us and dropped the front suspension down, then the power steering box was kind of getting in the way, so we had to just hold it as we wiggled the motor down. So as long as you used your alignment tool, it should slide in fairly easy. It still may put up a little fight. Once you get it low enough to where you could start pushing it backwards, you're going to have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit to kind of convince it to go in.
Should I wiggle?
Hold on.
Or fold?
Don't.
Well, I know you knew that we weren't going to get this done in one day, so here we are on day 2. New pants, new polo. I forgot my boots, so I'm still wearing work clothes, but that's okay, because we're working on a car. So what have we gotten done? The motor's in. It's connected to the bell housing. But now we need to raise the cradle back up, the K-member, attach all the suspension, so we can get the motor mounts attached to something.
So for the suspension, we just used a jack to push everything up since I am not strong enough to hold it up. So we did that, and if you remember in a previous episode, remember which side had 2 spacers on it. It's just going to make life a little bit easier and align properly.
Hey, welcome back to day 3. You know when we started this project, it was like -20. You could see our breath, it was freezing. And now, it's like 98 degrees and you can see our legs. Stay tuned for more.
Oh, the Corvette, I hope, not our legs.
You never know. Stick around.
No, Corvette.
Anywho'sville, now that we got the suspension buttoned up, now we gotta get the valve train back in there, and we just gotta start putting on accessories. That's it. Well, I think it's time for a little bit of update. As you can see, progress, baby! What have we done? We got water pump, power steering, with the valve trains back in, the intake's back on. We're missing injectors because I got the wrong ones, so we're gonna have to stay tuned for that. We did a whole bunch of connectors, we got the grounds. What's next? We need the AC condenser, the radiator. We still got a whole lot to do, but you're gonna stay tuned. I'll reach!
Now, I know I literally just got done saying I bought the wrong injectors, but in reality, they're just LS3 80-pound injectors, and they make adapters for that. I believe it's EV1 to EV6, which allows you to plug an LS3 injector into a stock LS1 harness. Now here we have Reach drilled the bung for the new O2 sensor in the X-pipe. That's gonna go to our wideband air fuel gauge. Thank God I have Reach, because I sure as heck can't weld. If I could recommend anything, it's learn how to weld.
Next step, we're gonna go ahead and tackle the radio. Also, day 4, I got a new shirt on. Next step, we're gonna do the radiator and the AC condenser. And so you know it goes radiator, and then the AC. Radiator, AC. Radiator, AC. The end.
Well, we like to cheat around here, so we're gonna do them both at once, same time.
Well, that was very well said. We put them on at the same time because it's a little bit easier. Now with the radiator, you're not really bolting anything in, so you're really just aligning the bottom. We just got it in and then finished it off once we got the car in the air. With the starter all buttoned up, now it's time to see what radiator hoses I missed. Start buckling up the AC. We got to change the thermostat, and then it's time to slap these headers in, which it's never like slapping the headers in because headers always take forever. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So there wasn't supposed to be a voiceover right now, but I was blasting copyright music while I was filming, so shame on me. What you didn't see is I cleaned up all the connectors, tied up all the loose ends, got the radiator hoses in, and now it's that fateful time to see if these headers want to go in easily. And thankfully, they did. As you can see, we're just putting them in through the top. If you twist and turn them a little bit, they'll slide right in. Now, just as a note, I have, because I'm doing this by myself, I have a jack stand at the bottom that's just gonna hold up the collector end. So, just fun fact for you. Now what you can't hear is me telling you these gaskets are directional. It'll tell you what side is the manifold side and top or bottom. As long as you can read, you got this. The driver's side went in just as easy as the passenger side. Now, one thing to note is you do have to loosen the steering shaft, otherwise you won't have enough room. And I'm gonna do a little dance right now, because I'm so excited that went in. And last but not least, I'll be connecting up all the AC lines. This also serves as a reminder for future me to recharge your AC. And if you're following along and did this, well, you need to recharge too.
Well, hey, and welcome back to day, whatever the hell day it is. I've lost count. No one said this was gonna be fast or easy. When you have like 20 minutes a day and you could like put in 1 or 2 bolts, It's gonna take a long time. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox now. Today I'm gonna try to get the exhaust on, and then button up the O2 sensors, maybe go back up top, fill it with oil, or something. We'll see. Maybe getting ahead of myself. We'll see. Well, we got the exhaust in. It's all buttoned up and it's straight. If you own a Corvette, which you probably do if you're watching this video, we got the exhaust tips lined perfectly. It looks so good. And we got the oil filter in, which when the oil filter in, that's progress. Got everything buttoned up at the bottom. Found a couple of broken clips, but we're gonna deal with that. And now here we are. This is like the final steps. We are so close. We're so close. We need the coil packs. He's putting on the dipstick, because he is a dipstick.
And I still haven't gone home.
He hasn't. Not until this thing starts. So you just gotta fill this puppy with some oil, throw some coolant in there, and then double check and triple check everything. And we can hear some ka-chunk-ka-chunks. Stay tuned. I also forgot to mention to put in spark plugs, because the car won't start very well without spark plugs. Well, it's official, huh? It's not lying. Let's start it up. You don't know how relieved I am that it actually started. It sounds good. There was a lot of smoke, which I hope that's just stuff burning off. And it's a clean motor. It's just freshly built.
Yeah, we'll find that stuff out later. But so far we've led the clutch. We still got to get some air out of the coolant system. Put the hood on maybe. I mean, I think it's cool without it.
Once the blower is on.
Yeah, big blower. Like this.
With screw blower,
Yeah.
maybe. But I thank you guys so much for joining us on the journey. We've been through a whole lot and a lot of months.
Pulled the motor, rebuilt the motor, made it ready for boost. It's gonna make a lot of power soon.
Yeah, I know this wasn't a step-by-step guide, but hopefully in watching this, you learned one or two things. You probably learned a couple things not to do. I hope the biggest takeaway is that you learned that you don't need to know everything. Just start undoing bolts and eventually it'll come out. All you have to do is dedicate some time and be consistent. Make sure you stick to it. Don't give up on it. Because that's how you end up with like those project cars that sit in your garage for 50 years. I'm happy to say that this finally ends the first chapter on the road to the nines.
And I can finally go home and see my family. It's been a while.
You sure can, buddy. You sure can. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for hiding out. Cool beans. We're already working.
Backfire big time.
I can't see. There's a blinding light in my face. But we're done. No, we're not done. I was already making blow-off valve sounds.